Hey guys, it's day 5 today. It's December 30th and only 2 days away from 2026. And just reflecting on the past year, it has been crazy. There's been so many ups and downs for me. A lot of news and a lot of journeying from different states. Had a new relationship. First relationship really, and lost it. I've learned a lot, and at the same time I'm still stuck in the same kinds of problems I was a year ago. And so I'm hoping that next year I can really begin to change this one major flaw of me trying to cover up shame and feelings and whatever you want to call it with lust. And so yeah, I'd say, like, compared to yesterday, it's been about the same as far as me acting out. Still struggling with that, but I have been doing some artwork, which is nice. Let me show you. So I finished this letter T from yesterday. So my very first Illuminated letter was actually this here for the book, where I was ripping off another artist's design, or the same shape anyway, but added my own fill. But now I have, well, as you can see, I mean, the lines here are pretty heavy and uneven in areas. The arrows, they look okay, but you can tell, like, the arrowheads, they aren't, like, very symmetrical. And so the fill is different too. There's a few things to be desired. But I'm grateful for what it did, because, you know, I definitely grew from that. And so this is the new T that I have, and this one is, you know, based off of my letter I and, you know, letter H's, everything that has this kind of like swoop to a point here. Just continuing that with this. And I'd say the only thing that I'm not super happy about is how the blood splatter turned out. I think that's a little bit too heavy, but regardless, I'm happy enough with it that I think I'll just photocopy it, and I'll remove some of the red in post with Photoshop. And so yeah, I also started and finished this today and yesterday. And so this thing is, again, it's ripping off of the letter O. A number of these, when they're round shaped, I just choose this because it's just a dope pointy design. And so now you got the 4 corners of the zodiac, or the 4 living creatures, from Revelations, from Ezekiel, that kind of thing. And then you've got the 4 wheels of the chariot of God, which is also found in Ezekiel chapter 1 and chapter 10 too. And then the Sacred Heart in the center there. And so I know the camera's a little blurry, it's not the best resolution, but I think you get the point. It's very symbolic. And so yeah, I'm very happy with how that one turned out. Nothing really I would change about it. Of course, you know, I'll get better over time, and I won't like it as much as I go, but I'd say for not that much experience drawing animal heads, and, well, human heads too, I think it turned out okay. And so you'll see the high-res version of that on my website, latsinferni.blogspot.com. And here, there's another one that I haven't uploaded yet, but this letter P has St. Peter's Basilica on it with the smoke of Satan, from the quote of, well, he's technically Pope St. Paul VI. Yeah, him saying that the smoke of Satan had entered the Church of God. Yeah, that's what that is right there. And it's, I'd say, the most technical illustration I've done to date, but yeah, I sometimes feel ominous about just looking at it. Anyway, yeah, so anyway, it's been nice getting back into the writing process again, or drawing process, and I'm 3.5 letters away from finishing, and that feels great. So without further ado, I'm going to work on my letter W now. I think that's going to be a witch burned at the stake at the center post of the W, so that's going to look pretty cool. And so stay tuned and have a great rest of your day. Bye.
How's it going? Today is day 6, December 31st, last day of 2025, and quick update, still struggling with acting out. Fortunately, I don't know, man, I really gotta just take my laptop out of my room after hours. It'll save me a little bit of headache, some sleep too. But I did get another, well, I showed yesterday I got the letter, what do you call it, Q done, and now I have another letter done. So I'll show you that. So, got a Warhammer here, and I was trying to do some lettering to see, you know, if I could fit in, like, and they shall not break a bone of him from John 19, but no, it just didn't work out. And also, normally Latin, the lettering makes it look cooler and the way it fits on the page, but for some reason that one phrase just had too many O's and E's for it to really feel punchy and necessary. And so I just decided, you know what, I'm going to make it a little bit more fancy, do like the 3D thing. Had fun with like the little expressions of the gold and the white instead of just normal dashes like I would normally do. And so yeah, there you go. So that's what I've been working on. I will have an appointment on Monday for an online therapist who is based in Burnsville, and so he specializes in sex addiction, apparently, stuff like that. So I thought he would be a good option, and so yeah, I'm going to do that. It's snowing outside right now, so I'm going to try to do some snow blowing as well once the snow stops. Since we have neighbors and stuff who are elderly, and it's helpful for them if I can help, so I'll do that later. And yeah, hopefully, I mean, I have 2.5 letters left. I mean, it's hardly any work compared to what I've already done, but it's hard for me to finish stuff, so I'll do my best to be consistent and just knock one letter out at a time, or a half letter out, get the hard tracing stuff out of the way first, and go from there. So anyway, that's all I got. Thanks for watching. How's it going? Today's January 1st, 2026, and yeah, I'd say it's been up and down this morning. Still being an idiot and not putting my laptop out of the room before I go to bed, so I acted out again in the morning. Not last night, but in the morning I did. And I also just made the stupid mistake of looking up my ex and just finding a photo of her, and it just punched my soul. I don't know why I'm hurting myself like I am, because a lot of when I act out is thinking about her, missing her, and so I hate that. I hate that I'm continuing to hold on to her. Coming up on 4 months since we've broken up, and I've only been with her 6 months. So yeah, that sucks, but I feel like right now, because I'm working solely on my book and it's the only thing I really care about, I think that if it weren't for that, I wouldn't be here, I wouldn't be alive. And so I'm grateful for God to have given me at least something to work on, even as it feels like everything is falling apart. So
that's just the raw truth. Maybe a little bit TMI to say it, but that's how it is. And so, yeah. The other thing that I need to catch up on is, well, I stayed up till 2 last night working on my next letter. It's a letter Y, and I'll just show it to you. Yeah, that took a long time, and one of the harder ones I've done as far as technical ability. I mean, it's not perfect. I forgot to put the gold and the white stripes inside of the arms, because this is a letter Y, and it represents a seraphim, where you have the 6 wings, 2 covering the face, 2 covering the feet, and 2 keeping it afloat, worshiping God. So this is my interpretation of that, turned into an illuminated letter, and I think it turned out pretty good. Yeah, I have a little crown on it, and you know, the halo for like its holiness, but it's nothing compared to God, so it's covering its face. It's from Isaiah, this whole imagery of it covering itself like this. And so, yeah, I put a lot of thinking into that one, and so I'm glad it turned out like it did. And yeah, that's the weird contrast, is that I'm making art that's vibrant and in your face, and is very, very Christian and Catholic and aspiring to be holy, and at the same time I'm not holy. I can understand now how like Michelangelo and Leonardo da Vinci and Caravaggio, a lot of the greatest artists also had so many problems in their personal life, and I am no different, but I'm not a great artist yet. I'm just still learning this thing, and yeah, I've got a long way to go. What else I got to say? I've got 1.5 letters left, and then I'm done. And technically, the letter X, while it's a cool looking letter, it's very unlikely like it will be at the beginning of any chapter. I don't know any paragraphs that really start with a letter that starts with X. That's not very common. I may still do it, but I need to at least finish the Z, which you've probably seen it in passing before, but I'm not sure about this. Like, I put a lot of work into making the human-like figures look right, but I've like redone this floor 3 times, and I've already traced out and then put the black in for this, but yeah, I don't know. I might redo it, because it's going to be for my friend Zach, and I want it to be good for him, because I want to give it to him. So yeah, we'll see about that. But anyway, that's where I'm at right now. But once I'm done with those 1.5 letters, I have some borders and other embellishments to create. For example, you'll see in one of my earlier posts on my blog, I have like this pattern of like flowers ascending and descending along the tops and sides of the pages. Combining that with the illuminated letters at the beginning of chapters will make it even better. It'll make it all of those colors pop, and it can allow me to accent with different types of borders, different themes within the book. So some may have gold leaves, some may have red, some may have black or white. Others may have different designs altogether, maybe even relating to, say, like the particular mysteries of the Rosary, or I'm not exactly sure how much varieties I'm going to create. And it'll take a little time for me to figure out how to get the right size of paper to scale it to the actual prints of the book, if that makes sense, where I don't know what the final edition will be printed in, I hope it's going to be just a standard letter size folded in half, which would mean I just need to cut down one of those full sheets of sketch paper to 11.5, 8 by 11.5, or 8.5 by 11, whatever the size is. But if not, I really don't want to redo all of those again. So what I might do, not do all of them in multiple different sizes, but I may just do a line at a time and a corner at a time, where even if it doesn't fit perfectly, it will at least be shrunk down to size if I make a smaller edition of the book, like a pocket size, or if I need to make it adapt to a different size for a larger copy, if that makes sense. Like if it's a slightly larger edition than a letter size, or slightly less, then I'll hopefully be able to give the typesetter or the editors an ability to shrink it, and they can fit it into those chapter headings. And so yeah, little embellishments like that. In my manuscript that I have for my book, before I started doing the illustrations, I inserted a bunch of images from online, like liturgical Catholic art, where it has some of like the weapons, or birds, or other animals, or fruits, or something that relates to either the Bible sequence or to the liturgical hour, like the time of day. So little symbols that just, again, break up the monotony of the text block that I feel like has become commonplace now again for Catholic prayer books. So I don't know how many of those I want to do myself. I can certainly do them at this point. Like, I've learned how to trace things like, you know, my letter D with like this bird here, or you know, the weapons, of course, and in some ways have improved upon the designs of those other Catholic artists, just by making it more thematically, you know, Catholic, right, with the rosary attached and that sort of thing. But we'll see how many of those I do before I get to, well, the big deal, which is the portraits. The portraits and the few landscape paintings that must accompany the Mysteries of the Rosary, the Stations of the Cross. It's probably going to end up being around 40 of those, which it could be that that's so time consuming that it doesn't make sense economically for me to do all of those, when I could just have the rights from someone else just for that portion of the illustrations, so that it's not a bear, and that's something that the publisher could handle, and just make sure that whoever does it has a similar theme to what I have done with my other illustrations. But then again, I might be so much of an egomaniac at this point with how I've been doing everything, that I may just put in the effort, and also it may just be another impetus for me to sell some smaller things before I get to the actual book, like pamphlets, little rosary guides, or things like that, prayer cards to sell prints of the stuff I've already created through my websites. I've got a lot of stuff in my head, and as you can tell, it's not very organized. So I'm really just venting to this camera, just to see where I'm at right now, just to be honest with where I'm at, which is just very two-faced, and at the same time, like, I don't want to give up. Like, again, I feel devastated with that breakup, because for one thing, it's the first real breakup I've had. Like, I've lost friends before who are like situationships, really, but it's so much more difficult when you not just form like somewhat of an emotional bond, but like a physical bond. And I really hadn't done that before with any gal, and so the fact that I felt so close to her that I really wanted to marry her. I thought she was the one. I thought this is the woman who would have my kids, and that they would look like her and me, and I really got tied up in that and so invested in that and wanted it to work and wanted it to be in that great community at St. Anthony's, and it just didn't work out. I still don't understand why she did it, because she said it was for compatibility reasons and that it was deeper than what was on paper between us, because on paper it made perfect sense why we were together. I still don't get it, and I still am just mad at her for not being able to have a better reason. And I wish I had a better reason I was here. I wish like she had died or something. That sounds awful, but like I mean it. Like I wish that she was completely off the market and gone, because then I wouldn't have that same feeling of like, yeah, I wasn't good enough. And I don't see someone else at this point. I mean, 4 months on, I don't see someone else that's like her. I have no idea how I could find a woman like that again. Yeah, and so that's tough. It makes me even question, like, if I'm called to be married, because, this prayer book, I want it to be my life guide. Like, I want it to be my way to pray and to connect to God, and for others to hopefully find some inspiration in it. And I've even considered like making it a religious order. Maybe not celibate, but I mean it's a lot of rosaries, it's a lot of prayer, it's a lot of time that I wouldn't be spending taking care of things like my wife or my kids. If I were married and I also had this at the same time, in some ways it feels like I have to choose between God and a woman, and maybe that's the false choice that Satan's telling me, but that's where I'm at right now. Is, do I want to go all in on being holy and wholly devoted to God, or should I reserve some small part of that effort, and should I go for broke, like trying to looks max, or I know it's cringe, but like for real, like getting myself ready, career max, whatever you want to call it, just getting ready for whoever, if ever someone could come around that's better than her. I don't know what to do except finish this book and just see what happens. It's the only thing that's keeping me alive, like I've said, and I am grateful still that I have friends and family that do love me and do want me to succeed in this, and I'm still grateful that I know God exists and that I know He is looking at me just like, what are you doing, man? Why aren't you coming to Mass more? Why aren't you coming to confession? Why aren't you this and that and the other thing? Like, yeah, I get it. But, yeah, I'm just really torn up right now. Completely stuck. And, yeah, I don't want to stay this way. I don't want to stay this way for the rest of my life in this limbo between paths. So, if anything, pray for me that God can show me a path that's clear enough for me to do it. After this book is over, or as I'm finishing it up. I pray that God can show me some sign to get this done, to do the right thing in this life, because I have been doing a terrible job lately, but like, I don't want to waste it. I don't want to waste this life. I mean, I'm going to be 26 this August, so I'm closer to 30 than 20, and I feel like I just have not made progress other than on this book. And so like, I'm going for broke, and if it breaks me, then so be it. So yep, I'm going to work on another letter today, listen to some music, and try to not think about all the bad stuff between the lust and the well and whatever else is going on in the world right now. Whatever's actually true and not completely filtered to shit by all these pundits. I just want to do something right today. On this first day of 2026, I want to do something right. And so, here we go, let's do it. See you later, and thanks for watching, and pray for me, because Lord knows I need it, and I'll be praying for all of the sinners and all the people who are lost like me, who need a book like this. So, St. Christopher, pray for us. St. Teresa of Avila, Queen of the Carmelites, and St. Christopher, I already said him, St. Anthony the Great, who was so simple yet so profound. Pray for us and help us to get through this very strange, mysterious, and wicked time. Amen.